Doctor Who previews. 3 words I'm thrilled to be saying to you today, and meaning I'm about to show you some cards in the set. Good morning, Magic. I'm Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast, and today has been the Doctor Who Commander debut, filled with oodles of new card previews. It'll be continuing all week with all kinds of creators showing off cards. Today has been a mix of cards from all the decks, but is more focused on Timey-Wimey, the deck featuring the 9th, 10th, and 11th Doctors. Tomorrow, October 4th, has its previews more focused on the Paradox Power deck from the 12th and 13th Doctors run. On Friday the 5th, we hand things over to the villains, with Masters of Evil being showcased. And this all culminates with a look from the Professor over on Tolarian Community College on Friday, as he shows off everything left in the Blast from the Past deck that features the first 8 Doctors. It's a packed week full of Doctor Who delights. Now, you're going to hear about a lot of sweet new cards this week, and rightfully so. Each deck has a whopping 50 new cards. But today, I actually want to talk about a bunch of staple reprints. Cards you play plenty of, but with brand new faces. Ready? Into the Time Vortex we go. Let's get started. Normally, when we design Commander decks, we can grab reprint cards from any world to use in our decks. The flavor on the reprint cards is not connected at all to the rest of the deck. Brothers War Commander decks can have a card from Kaladesh, and Wilds of Eldraine Commander can have a card from Lorwyn. It's all fine. But when it comes to designing universes beyond Commander decks, one thing we've felt is important is that all 100 cards are in the universe. This includes the new cards, of course, but also the reprints. As a deck designer, this is fun in some ways because it inspires you to look for reprints that are a perfect fit for the collaboration, like Farewell for the regeneration of the 10th Doctor. It can also be a huge challenge because any card which has a Magic Universe proper name in its title is off the table. For example, Goro Signet, Shivan Reef, nope. We have talked about if we wanted to do the alternate name treatment here on Moss, like what we did with Aquaria, but we haven't cracked that seal for Commander decks just yet. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Anyway, one other really fun thing that goes on is that for the concepts that remain, we need to figure out what they mean in this universe. Sure, any setting can have a command tower, but what does that mean in Doctor Who? Every collaboration so far has tackled this a little differently. So let's talk about some of those very staples. First up, yes, command tower. Every deck is going to have a command tower. And what is the command tower in Doctor Who but the TARDIS, the vessel that the Doctor travels in? It was a perfect fit. And while we were going to have a card for the TARDIS itself, the TARDIS console inside made a perfect command tower concept. Now, not every land in the set was going to get unique art for its deck to match the era the deck is from. A design rule we used is that everything above the land row would be themed to that era, but the lands themselves could be from across Doctor Who. But another thing about the TARDIS console is that it does change over time. And so for command tower, what if we did different arts for each deck? It was perfect. Let me show them to you. Here's the art for the Timey-Wimey deck, the 10th Doctor's console from an iconic view up above. Up next is the art for Paradox Power's command tower, featuring another look and some flavor text from the 12th Doctor. And keep in mind, some incarnations of the Master have a TARDIS too. So we brought the Master's TARDIS to life here for the Masters of Evil deck, featuring my favorite flavor text of the 4, a great Master quote. What about the 4th one? Well, I'll save that one for my good friend the Professor to show off on Friday. Next, of course, you can't have Commander without Soul Ring. And, well, the TARDIS time travels, so what about something that helps allow for the very time travel the TARDIS uses? It's the Eye of Harmony. One thing I particularly enjoy is how the classic Soul Ring flavor text, Lost to Time is the artificer's art of trapping light from a distant star in a ring of purest gold, suggests that this sort of thing, an exploding star trapped in the Doctor's TARDIS, is perfectly in Soul Ring canon. And while we're on the TARDIS theme, let me show you Path of Ancestry. There have been many slightly different incarnations of the Doctor's TARDIS over the years, and this card really shows its heritage, all the way back to the cylinder tucked away in the back, which is what the TARDIS actually looks like when it's not accidentally stuck as a police box. Anyway, Exotic Orchard is another land related to the TARDIS, something we see from the episode Journey to the Center of the TARDIS. A much more mechanical orchard than we're used to, but fitting. It's not all TARDIS themed though. Of course, Arcane Signet is going to feature in all of the decks, and for this one, we picked something that could run through all 4 decks, the Seal of Rassilon, a real connection to Gallifrey. the planet of Time Lords, where the Doctor is from, this item features both in the old run of the show and the new run of the show, among friends and foes alike, so it was a great pick. Okay, now all of those cards show up in every deck, but next I want to show off some cards that are more divided by deck. So one thing early on we knew we needed to have were the Doctor's various accessories. From wearing a bow tie to having an incredibly long scarf, the elements of each Doctor's attire are really iconic. So we started with trying a bunch of cards called things like bow tie and scarf, but they didn't work out great. They wanted to be pretty trinkety equipments, and what does a scarf even do anyway? They weren't what the deck themes really wanted, but we had to have them somewhere. Enter finding our reprints. Signets are no good here because of the guild names, so Universes Beyond Commander decks often lean on talismans. And wait, what is a talisman if not a special object someone keeps with them? Perfect. So all the talismans in this product are exactly that, iconic items of characters. Talisman of Conviction is the aforementioned card featuring the 11th Doctor's bow tie, which you certainly need some conviction to wear. Talisman of Progress is the scarf of the 4th Doctor, flowing as it ever does. Talisman of Creativity is one of my favorites, the 10th Doctor's 3D glasses. Its red and blue lenses are perfect for a red and blue mana generating card. Talisman of Curiosity is the 13th Doctor's trusty goggles. Talisman of Unity is the celery stick worn by the Doctor, and I love that we got the flavor text in of why he wears it as well. A line I've had to constantly paraphrase to people when talking about that Doctor's wild wardrobe. Another favorite of mine is Talisman of Impulse, the 12th Doctor's guitar from his iconic scene on top of a tank. Rock out. Now, for the villains, we went with some items associated with them. So first up, we have Talisman of Dominance, sporting a Porud who are not a villain, but are taken over by the Beast here. And then lastly, we get a cameo appearance from Madame Kavarian on Talisman of Indulgence with her trademark eye patch. As you see the cards in this set get revealed, of course, the new cards will, rightfully, get a ton of spotlight. But keep an eye out as the reprints show up too. There aren't as many as other Commander decks. The flip side to each deck having 50 new cards is there are only 50 reprints, including lands. But if you're a Doctor Who fan, I really hope some of the references catch your attention, or at least make you smile anyway. Me and my team put a ton of time into this set, and I really hope you have a blast following along with everything this week. Please let me know what you think as you do. Enjoy preview week, and I'll talk with you again soon. Until then, welcome to the wild world of Doctor Who. You got this. Kicking things off, White Blue is a flying tempo deck that's all about the Frost Queen fairy tale. You play some cheap creatures and then can use things like tap and freeze cards to slow your opponent down and get just past your opponent. Keep an eye out for Solitary Sanctuary, which is an excellent uncommon for the deck that can slow your opponent down and pump up your creatures.